You're listening to The Real Short Box, a comic book podcast made for geeks by geeks.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and listening. We are The Real Short Box. My name is Donald, and I am here with Sean.
Yo.
I'm here with Big Sal.
Yeah.
And I am here with the special guest, JD from JD's Logbox. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Of course. And JD, you have a YouTube channel, correct?
I do. JD's Longbox.
There we go. Simple as that. JD's
I'm a subscriber.
Yes. Sal is definitely a subscriber. Yeah. I believe I already subscribed a while back, but I'll have to double check.
Number 89.
Ooh.
Who's going to be number 90? That could be you, the listener.
It could be. Yeah, it could be the listener.
Or it could be you, Shant.
So we're going to be talking about genre-defining horror films.
What does that mean?
Like, for example, like films, not just like regular films, but like horror films that kind of laid the groundwork. So when we're talking about classic horror, you know, we had the universal horror like in the 20s and 30s. We had Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera, all those.
Would this be something that no one ever saw before or since? Or is this something that once it came out, everybody was chasing to catch up?
Once it came out, everybody was kind of chasing,
Okay.
and then they were like, okay, let's throw something out and see if this is successful. And we had that. When the Universal Monsters came out with that stuff, when they came out with the Universal Monsters, there was a monster palooza. It was an explosion of horror. It was like right in your face, an explosion in your face. Of
Absolutely.
Horror. Yeah.
People are still trying to wipe that off.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
They won't be wiped off because there's too many people that love Dracula, that love Wolfman, that love the Creature of the Black Lagoon.
And you think
That's not what I'm meant by they're wiping it off.
No, I don't think it is. But we're just glaze over that one.
Yeah.
But like people are still, those are still successful series. You know, we're getting another Wolfman. And I think it's coming out like January or February.
We saw the trailer when I went to go
next year.
see Speak No Evil.
Yeah, from Blumhouse. So we're getting another Wolfman series.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to start if you want, like the rise of indie horror.
Yeah, that's true. The found footage horror that we would get with
The late 90s.
like the Blair Witch Project. Now,
Paranormal Activity.
raise your hands. Who thought that like the Blair Witch Project was really found footage? Who thought it was real?
I thought it was real.
I didn't, and I had to convince everybody that it wasn't. But I'm a film file, so I was reading all the trades and getting all the background information. Like, oh, they went out for so many weeks and filmed, and he would just leave little notes under their pillow, and they'd wake up and have to like, oh, today I'm going to be scared and running for my life, and this guy's got a secret. I got to get it out of him. There's like no script. They're all just and everybody I've worked with was like, no, it's real. These kids really went in the woods, and they were never found again.
And it's like,
See, me personally, when I went to go see it first, it was the first time ever seen a movie with a camcorder.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
There's no other movie that's ever done that. That's why I, like, for
In
a
your
few,
head, yeah.
I felt like it was real. But I knew it wasn't.
So I kind of set the mold for the
It's
found
the shaky
footage.
cam.
Yeah.
Paul Greengrass was like sitting in the audience watching this and was like, this
Well, it
is
wasn't just a shaky cam.
excellent
It was
idea.
the camera and the operator are a character in the story.
Mhm.
Like if you look at Cloverfield, that was also
That's
all
true.
from the point of view of the cameraman.
Well,
Yeah.
they're using documentary techniques.
I mean, I did
Absolutely.
that with the Great Escape. If you go to Rumble Spoon Productions, if you go in, and that's where we're recording. Actually, we're at WCBH Studios in Chatsworth. But if you go to the Rumble Spoon Productions page, you can find the Great Escape, and we did that as a found footage film, where it was two people and they were working in an office after hours, and they hear this giant thud on the roof, and of course, one of the characters is trying out his new camera, that he just got. And so they run up to the roof and there's Superman. And he's dead. And he's on the roof. And they're like, holy shit, what do we do? They found Superman dead on the roof. It's just two office workers. And of course, hijinks ensue. But the whole thing entirely is, oh, let me film. Oh, here, give me that. I'm driving. And then, everybody's switching back and forth and handing the camera to the other person and so on and so forth.
Very Chronicle-like.
Yeah. And it was before Chronicle, actually. So
they owe you some money, man.
I think they do. Yeah.
They owe me money. They owe you money.
Yeah, me, not you. I don't know where you get you just because
I
you
just want to
know
be a
me.
part of it, Donald.
Yeah, I know.
God.
I don't mean you get
Sal
it.
wasn't satisfied with the movie. He wants a refund.
Oh, Chronicle was great though.
No, it was a good concept, but I felt like the premise was a little weak. That was it.
So what do you guys, besides, like we mentioned the Universal Monster, we mentioned the found footage thing. What other genre do you think like defined horror?
For me, Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Nightmare
I
on
mean,
Elm Street.
everybody was chasing that for 20 years.
The funny thing is that Wes Craven told how he came up with the concept. That he saw a news article that a man was telling the doctors that he didn't want to fall asleep. That if he fell asleep, that he would die. He stood up for I think 6 or 7 days, and then they finally, induced him, and then he walked away, and they came back, and he ended up dying.
No shit.
And they didn't know how he died or what it was, but they came back, and he's dead.
That's freaky.
That is freaky.
Jesus.
Because when I saw Nightmare on Elm Street, I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
And you know me, I love, scary movies and horror movies
Mm-hmm. And big titty bitches.
and big titty bitches.
Huh.
So, when I saw Nightmare on Elm Street, it was just super creepy enough where it made me it would warp my mind, especially where Freddy Krueger extended his arms and scratching the walls in the
that was
alleyway.
cool. Yeah.
It freaked me out. I'm like, why is his arms like that?
One of the few series that I've seen, I think all of them. You know me, I'm a bit of a sissy when it comes to horror.
Yeah.
I don't like gore. I don't like gore
I
at
love
all.
that shit.
So it really that Terrifier shit, I'll never watch it. I'll never watch that shit. No.
It's
Human Centipede
crazy.
ain't happening.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
that's just disgusting.
Yeah.
You saw Saw, right?
Yeah, but
I saw
Saw
the first one.
is like
and the second one.
Saw is not really gory.
Another
Oh.
trend maker movie.
Yeah.
So
Saw really was. Yeah.
that was
Saw
the beginning of the torture porn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, it did. It really was the beginning of the torture porn. And then we got Eli Roth,
Yeah, that was going to say.
Hostel and stuff like
the
that,
Hostel.
cutting
Hostel
off
was
penises
crazy.
and whatnot. Yeah, fun. But you all got to go back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah.
which was the onset of the slasher film. That was I think everybody can agree it was either between that and what was it? Psycho or Black Christmas, I think was another one a lot of people talk about.
It's Psycho, because Psycho was
Yeah.
1960. So,
Was that
Yeah.
a slasher?
yeah. Well, I mean, what's the most famous scene?
Yeah, but I mean, for me, slasher always comes with a lot of blood and guts. And
There's
Psycho
a level
was,
of tropes that goes with it.
Yeah,
You've
but
got a
there's
group
no
of
blood or
young
guts in,
people in a given location, one almost supernatural character killing them off one by one.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing
I mean,
is
there's
that
no-
back in the day, they would do off-screen executions, especially with Psycho.
Oh yeah,
Like, you know, you
everything. The imagination they said
Yeah,
was more scary
exactly.
than the real thing. Than seeing.
Well, there was no off screen. It was on screen. It's just that you just didn't
No,
see
you
the-
never saw the knife go into the body.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
It's all just the editing. But the same thing
Well, yeah.
happens with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's
Mhm.
nothing on there. There's no.
Mhm.
It's pretty bloodless movie. It's
Mhm.
just that they cut it in a way that makes it seem like you're seeing something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
and that's
think-
Toby
Toby
Hooper?
Hopper.
Hooper, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody correct us.
Would you say that the remake was justice to the original?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No,
I think it was with Jessica Biel.
nah.
I liked it.
I mean, I like Jessica Biel.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that the part where
Jessica, if you're
Leatherface,
listening, by the way, I am available. I'm single.
she not gonna even look at your way. Anywho, when
You can park the
when
car.
Leatherface was wearing her boyfriend's face,
Yeah.
the editing in that, it threw me off because I had to look, more into the TV because I was like, that's not her boyfriend. And then he's wearing the boyfriend's face was just super creepy. And then not only that, when the chainsaw executions, you see it in the remake. You don't see that in the old one because, like I said, during the old times, they left our imagination more into it than in the remakes they would show it.
Well, yeah. It's different type of the sensibility.
Times.
Yeah, in the times. I mean, everybody. It's all about the editing, anyways. Back then, because
Yeah,
you see that
absolutely.
there's the one of the famous ones where the guy gets hit in the head, right, with a mallet or something. They cut on that hit, but
Yeah.
you swear you see it.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
but the sound effects was like something.
Oh, yeah,
like
that sound
the
effect.
sound effect was just crazy.
Yeah,
It's like,
that head of lettuce getting crushed.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well,
crazy.
What do you think? Like JD, what are some of your?
I'm gonna go back to the kaijus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna go to Godzilla Land.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I mean, that set a whole genre on its own.
That's true. It's
I
particularly
don't
in
know
Japan.
if you call it
yeah.
if it's all horror, a lot more just like sci-fi fantasy, but
I think
it really
the
did create its own genre.
sci-fi horror. I think because it is pretty horrific.
But are you talking
radiation.
about first Godzilla, or are you talking about Gojira, which is the original?
Well, that would have to be the original, so it set the stage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'Cause
And
I
this
loved
minus
it.
one.
I loved it in black and white.
Yeah,
by
the minus
way.
one was pretty horrific.
Dude, -1 was nuts.
Yeah,
Like
it was great.
from like the beach scene. Remember when the guy was like trying to refuel, but he didn't want to go back to
You
go
remember
fight?
that one scene where you fell asleep?
You're gonna bring that up again, son of a bitch. I was tired.
I loved it so much. I slept through part of it.
I slept for 10 minutes through it.
I know. I kept having to wake you up.
The amount of time Sal sleeps through a movie is how his rating system. I slept for 10 minutes. That's a good rating.
And that's an
Dude.
excellent film.
Listen,
slept for
it
half
was
an
the
hour.
part where the guy screamed because he thought his girlfriend died, and then like he screamed for like what, 2 minutes?
Solid too.
A solid 2 minutes of him screaming at the sky.
So he falls asleep when people scream at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So like Sal, like Goodfellas, how many minutes of sleep would you get through that one?
Oh my god.
Ray Liotta, I think, gave him a really good nap.
So you're saying I'm a funny man, eh?
Yeah.
Joe
You're saying I'm a
Pesci,
funny
yeah.
man? How funny am I?
Funny like a clown?
We can't say clown. Remember, it offends you.
It does. You're right.
And-
Clowns are offensive.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
it's that
they're
white
very offensive.
makeup.
Yeah. Well, and the red
Do you-
hair.
do you
make fun
like-
of Irish people? Come on.
Do you like Tim Curry's It or the new one?
Scars are.
I think they're both great. I think they're both great.
They're
But-
both amazing.
But if I had to pick one, it still would be the OG. It'd be Tim Curry. But overall, film wise, I mean, the remakes are much better.
You can't
film.
really compare film wise because it's a different time. You know what I mean? But like I feel
mean,
like
everybody does.
Tim
Yeah.
Curry's It was just a lot more creepier to me than
It's
the
boring.
He was boring?
No, the film was boring.
Really?
It's boring as fuck. Like half
Kiss
of it
me,
was
fat boy.
really boring. Like there was a lot of shit that did not need to be in there.
Yeah.
It was a made for television film, right?
Yeah, it was on
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
And then they made I think it was like a 2 VHS.
Yeah, a
cassette.
4-hour film.
It was it's 4 hours. Jesus
Loaded
Christ.
son of a bitch. That's
But
what
then they
mine-
did a part 1,
Yeah.
which was a smart move with the remake.
Well, yeah, but then they shit the bed on the second one. The second one was bad. You have to agree with me on that.
Yeah.
It was bad.
There were some cool
They stacked
scenes.
that cast.
The cast was incredible.
The funhouse scene was
The story,
crazy.
not so much.
Where he's like, headbutting the window to get
Mhm.
to the kid. That was like, oh my god.
hmm What's another one?
Jaws.
Jaws.
Oh yeah,
Jaws is a pretty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that's more like redefining what a blockbuster is. It was actually creating a blockbuster.
Well, I think
a summer blockbuster. film.
that's essentially a horror movie that made money, a ton of money, because most of those horror movies were smaller and niche. They never made like that much money.
Well, and then after
And they-
that was what, like Poseidon Adventure or The Deep or things like that. They started to
more
Piranha.
accurately, Piranha. Yeah,
Yeah.
Piranha from the same writer.
what's that one movie with Peter Weller, and they're like,
The Leviathan. Right?
that
I
one
think
was
so.
badass.
I haven't seen that one, but I know all about it.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it.
Never seen it.
No,
Do
I need
yourself
to.
a favor.
It needs to go on my list because I love
Yeah.
that underwater shit. I
Yeah.
love it. Deep Rising is a personal favorite of mine when it comes to like.
Where does
Underwater
Deep Blue
Monster.
Sea rank?
I like that one too.
I like that one.
Hello, Cool J.
First of
Thomas
all,
Jane?
It's fun.
I got
Yeah,
one
fun on 'em
thing.
on.
I got one thing to pick about Deep Blue Sea. How massive the sharks were when they're in the water. How did the sharks shrink to be in hallways?
Well, when you get in the water,
Shrinkage.
you
I mean,
bloat. You bloat.
Come on,
You
you,
ever?
you never,
like
you never
40
got out of the pool and then like
They're all
a little
cartilage.
small.
They don't have solid bones.
Oh,
So
okay.
they just
I've never had that
squish
problem.
down and
Sean.
go in.
Jesus Christ.
It's always small. That's why.
Oh. I don't hear you complain too much.
But Jaws actually, that movie made people get afraid to go in the water.
It really
True.
did.
You
Yeah.
know?
You're
Yeah.
right. And much like Scream made people afraid to answer their damn phone, because somebody was going to.
someone asking me
How many
trivia
times
about
did you call a friend and be like, "Do you like scary movies?" I mean, you at least did it once, right?
Hey, have you ever been poked?
Yeah, what?
No.
JD, you did it once, right? You called somebody and said, "Do you like scary movies?"
No, I don't prank people.
No?
No.
But you got pranked.
His
No?
campaign is, hey, do you like podcasts?
And the first
As much as Scream kind of created a whole new genre in its own, you made me think of The Ring.
Oh,
That was a huge
Yeah.
movie when it came out.
The Grudge was another one I can think of.
The Grudge was kind of following in the footsteps of The Ring.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
But the-
Japanese horror, right?
Actually, yeah,
Or
that's a
No,
good one right there.
The Japanese one
horror.
is called Jinyu.
Ju-on.
Ju-on, yeah.
yeah.
Ring.
That one's way crazier because out there they don't have any rules like how we have rules out here.
Yeah, like
they
Audition.
go all out, dude. The Audition, nobody knows about that shit, bro. That movie is beyond crazy. Takashi Miike, the director of Audition, he's the Quentin Tarantino of the Japanese filmmaking. Very good. The Audition was nuts.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one called The Eye, which they
Oh, yeah.
they remade it out here with
Mhm.
Jessica Alba.
Alba.
Yeah.
Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
But the Japanese version,
Lots
dude.
of those. Do you think there's another horror, like, archetype or horror, like, genre or subgenre of horror that we have yet to see?
Animated.
Yeah, but somebody else has to think of it.
Right.
It's like if we name it, it's already out there. It's like it hasn't appeared yet. And when
Cup
it will,
horror.
we'll see it.
I'm going to say cup horror.
Cup horror?
Cup horror.
I mean, they have the Gingerbread Man, they have the Evil Bong.
just threw that out.
There's just so
Yeah,
many.
just
low-
the reanimated movies,
Yeah.
right?
Well, if you think about it, Scream was the only one to have like a hugely successful parody series,
Yes.
scary movie, where none of the others really had any of that, you know? And they started to parody all the other horror films within that, but the basic building block of it was Scream. And that's pretty special.
Yeah.
And we're still getting Scream films. So good on Wes Craven for that.
Which is weird that Scream was a parody of Wes Craven's earlier work.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
Also true.
Or it's satire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A satire of his earlier work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he do Christine?
No, that was
Wes Craven?
John Carpenter.
That was Carpenter. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Craven
that was
did the
Stephen King that wrote it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wes Craven did the Nightmare movies, and then One from the Heart with Meryl Streep.
But there's one movie, I don't remember what it's called, but it's this girl that threw a basketball at this old lady's face and her face blew up.
Oh yeah, I mean you see that all the time.
Yeah,
in
that's
clips.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
No, it's not. It's
I know
a
what you're
horror
talking about.
movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't remember what it's called.
If
but-
anybody is listening, and maybe the one person that's listening, you can let us know in the comment section what film this was with the basketball exploding head.
Well, there's also Carrie.
Carrie.
Yes.
Carrie,
Yeah.
yeah.
We just go down the list with
I mean,
But
Women-
really, yeah, there's just a
Everyone
Stephen
was
King
scared
genre.
to have
Yeah.
a period.
yeah.
You
Stephen
think-
King can just do like you can just remake
Christine, the Cars.
Stephen King movies with different kind of
Yeah. It's true.
genre defining movies. Right?
And there's so many stories that have yet been adapted of his, which is crazy to think about.
What about Maximum Overdrive?
Oh, there's a lot of coke on that set, buddy. A lot of coke.
The Green Goblin of fucking diesel trucks? Come on, bro.
Yeah. And speaking of coke, no, I'm just kidding. I don't have any
You're
on
gonna
me.
say cocaine.
Do you have some?
No, I don't
No.
do that.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Just
Too fat. To
I
do
mean,
that.
I was just checking.
Think I put cocaine in cheeseburgers?
But what are some of your guys' favorites out there in podcast land? All of you all listening, go ahead and comment in the comment section what you think is a genre-defying horror film and why, and what are some of your favorite horror films. So go ahead and leave that in the comments. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank Big Sal, Shantz, and I want to thank our special guest, JD from JD's Long Box.
Thanks a lot.
You can find us on YouTube. You can find JD on YouTube under JD's Long Box. And I want to give a special shout out to WCBH Studios. That's We Can Be Heroes Studios in Chatsworth, California for hosting us, and to Rumble Spoon Productions for producing. And thank you all for listening. If we don't see you out and about anytime soon, perhaps we'll see you at the comic shop.
This has been The Real Short Box. We'll see you at the comic shop. Thanks for listening.